Hello to all my brothers and sisters out there. It's really nice to be in front of you again. And today is one of those days when I'm a little bit nostalgic about my growing up in Africa because I miss Africa a lot. And it's 35 years that I left Africa and I'm in Europe and all that. So I just miss Africa a lot, especially Zambia, because I remember when I was a kid, it was Dr. Kenneth Kaunda who was the president, and I just really believe that he was the most incredible man. He was such a charismatic leader. After independence, he's the one who led Zambia forward. And can you believe that after all these years, after 35 years of leaving Zambia, I can still remember the Zambian national anthem, Stand and Sing of Zambia. Can you believe that? It's just in my head. I can even sing it for you. But anyway, I don't need to prove anything, but it's true that I remember each word of that national anthem even now. So the country was something special for me. And Dr. Kaunda was somebody who was exceptional. You cannot have two Kenneth David Kaundas in a century. And for me, after Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, obviously it was Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, who we respected such a lot. And these were two exceptional men coming out of Africa. And I remember when we were in school, when I was in Kitwe Primary and all that, and when Dr. Kenneth Kaunda used to pass, we were all made to line up on those streets and waving those small flags and welcoming the president. And we were so happy to do that. And even they used to, when we were older and we were in secondary school, they used to make us march the style, the army style, whenever President Kaunda used to go by. And we were so happy to do it because he was such a great man who did such a lot for Zambia. So I'm hoping that you guys have not forgotten him, and he's such a man that nobody can forget. If you have met him once, and I actually met him once and personally, and I saw him so many times going by in his car, his official motorcade and all that. So today, I don't know why I spoke about this. In fact, I came to talk about the rest of my visit in India in those days and my experiences there. So let me get back to India now and God's own country, which is Kerala. Now, I suppose, after all this, I won't be a very popular man in that part of the world, but it doesn't matter. Once we reach a certain age, we have the right to say what we really feel. And before I go to that, I just want to thank all my African friends and all those people out there who just made our lives so good in Africa. Our childhood growing up was just incredible. It was full of happiness and good people around us. And it was just something that I can never forget. So this has left a huge impression in my heart. And that's why even living in Europe, whenever I see an African man, I go and talk to him, or an African lady, just go and talk to them, shake hands like we used to do in the old days, and just talk to them. And they're surprised that I have such good memories of Africa, because as usual, some immigrants, they try to, when they are in France and all that, they try to show that they are French, but they've forgotten their identity. We should never forget our identities. Wherever you come from, be proud of where you come from, because it's very important to know where you come from so that you can advance in life. And nobody need to be ashamed of where they come from, because we are not inferior to anybody. If you're African, don't think that you are inferior to anybody in the world, because Africa is such a great place, and there's so much knowledge and so many things coming out of Africa that people don't want to give publicity to that, because you know how politicians want to control things and all that. But that's all not important. So let me get back to India and my experiences in God's own country, which is Kerala in the southwest of India. I'll remind you. So I talked about when I landed in New Delhi, then I went to Kerala in Kochi, and when I took the train, which was smelling of urine. In fact, it was a terrible experience. And when I spoke to the ticket checker, he was looking at me like I'm a madman, and even mumbling to others that maybe I'm a mad guy, so just leave me alone. You see, that's the thing you notice in India, that people have got resistance. Like I told you about street food. In Delhi, I was the only one who got ill because I was a foreigner, and the Indian guys were eating the same thing. Nothing happened to them. So it's the same thing with urine in Kerala. They're used to that smell. I think if you take away the urine smell, they won't even enjoy their train ride out there because they are so used to that. And for me, it was just disgusting. And the subject I wanted to talk about is how environmentally ignorant these people are from God's own country. Again, I repeat, this God's own country. I don't know which idiot named this zone as God's own country, because for me it had nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with God's own country. Because when you say God's own country, you think of perfection, you think of good things, you think of everything. Everything I saw there was exactly the opposite. So let me tell you just a simple thing. I had a chance to visit one of the local markets, which is in Kochi, in fact, not in Trivandrum, but in Kochi. So this market, in fact, they kill animals, they slaughter animals, they sell fish, and everything. And I just asked somebody, so how do you get rid of all this waste that's happening? Those heads of beef and fish heads and all that stuff that you're cleaning, all this rubbish which is smelling so bad. So the reply I got was, that is no problem, sir. There is a river going just nearby. We throw everything in the river. And I was so shocked, man. And I just went to visit this river one day to see if it's true. And it's true. They dump all this waste in the river, in a pure, in what should have been a pure river. That river, I couldn't believe it, because I went there and there's a small kind of bridge which crosses from the market where I was across this river, and I saw that they were dumping all this waste, and they've been doing it for years. And guys, guess what? You can't even see the bottom of that river. Forget bottom, the thing looks opaque. The thing looks opaque. And I was like, gee. And you see people just bathing in there in the morning, and you're like, boy, I'm sure that you go in cleaner than when you come out, because with all the pollution and all the stuff that you are dumping in there, it is so disgusting. How can you go and have a bath there? But they're used to that. That's their tradition, just going in those kind of things. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm not anti-Indian or something like that. No, just like, I talk about the whole world. We talked about the Texan idiots, American idiots. We talked about so many things. It's not that. I'm just giving you some insight into certain things. There are better places to visit than God's own country. Just if you don't have a lot of money, try to think about where you want to go to have the best holiday possible, and try to read up on these places really, and talk to people who have got experience where you need to go to enjoy your holidays. Don't waste your money going to such places. What are you going to see? You are just going backward in time. I just consider this God's own country so backward. These guys are like 100 years behind time, So, but they won't admit it, because you know how Indians are. They will never admit anything. For them, they are the best in the whole world, and that's just how it is. And we need to accept that. So, I mean, this is just the truth, guys. So this is not to tarnish anybody or make fools of people. It's just a fact. It's a fact. You have to be man enough to accept the facts. Because if we talk about this, maybe some guy is going to wake up over there and he's going to say, no, we need to change things. I'm hoping they will change things, because you have to think of the generations to come. If you destroy your rivers, if you destroy the forests, they've got it's totally indiscriminate cutting of trees out there in Kerala. They don't care. It's about making money. The politicians, it's all about making money. The most dirty politicians in the whole world is from that God's own country. So how can we respect those people? It's impossible. So with that pleasant thought, I'll let you guys go, guys, and remember that Mr. Banda is still out here and broadcasting to you with a lot of energy. So take care.